Hi everyone. Okay, so today I want to show you a different method of making a ramp to have distinguished looks. And like I said, I want to make one that twirls just to give you a roundabout idea how to get that to work. See what I did there? Roundabout. All right, so we'll start where we left off with our sample table. Right click, go to edit. So we are now in the editor. This is the ramp we've created on the previous tutorial. If you haven't seen the first video, I suggest you do that one first. Practice that. On that first video, there is a link to this example table that you may use to follow along. In this video, however, there's going to be a link in the description for a zip file that contains a folder like this that has two folders. It's going to be full of images. There's a cartoony folder with all these different images, and then there's a plastic folder with all these images. And you're going to need to have those, so download them, unzip them, put them somewhere that's easy to find, like on your desktop. And once you have your table loaded, I want you to click on Table, go to Image Manager, and click Import on the right-hand side over here. It's under my cam, you can't see it, sorry. Import, right here. You see the import button? Click on that, and you're gonna highlight all the images in the cartoony folder. Click Open, import again, and we're gonna go back one, which is the plastics, and import all of these. There we go. So what that will do will be textures for ramps that we're going to create a different style of ramp today. So we're going to create a ramp that mirrors this one slightly, but we're going to make it much steeper. See, this original ramp, we have it going up to 65 VPU units high, but this one we're going to make it go much higher because we need the space for a twirly ramp, because you got to remember that the ball is 50 VPU units and it has to fit underneath its own ramp. So it has to have at least double that. And it's better to have a little bit extra even. So I like to create a ramp, will go 130 high. All right, so we're gonna start with a ramp. Remember, blue is for bottom, red is for head. Click on it and we'll make the bottom width 120. And then the top width we'll put it at 70 for this one. We're gonna do the same thing as this one. We're gonna mirror it basically the other way around, but it's gonna be a steeper ramp. All right, so add a point, curve it a little bit, like that. Make sure it's pretty well aligned with the other flipper. All right. And now for the top height, bottom height 0, top height, we'll go 130. That might be too much, might not be enough, but let's just go look at how it looks in comparison to the other one. See, it is much steeper, but I think it looks pretty good. All right, so we're gonna start with that. Then we're gonna import one more ramp to have the turnaround, the flat turnaround. So we know that the top of the ramp is 70 wide, so the bottom of this ramp should be 70 wide. And we want 60 at the other end because that's when it's going to convert to the 2-wire system, right? Add some points. Doesn't matter how many, just however you need to control to shape the ramp into the shape we need, which is that upside down U shape. There we go. I think we're good here. Just gonna zoom in by holding Control and your mouse wheel. Using your mouse wheel to zoom in and out while holding Control is very amazing and easy to use, and it's crucial. Otherwise, you're gonna be using, there's a magnifying glass button here. I don't even know how that works, to be honest. I never use it. It's just so much easier holding Control. All right, so at this point, I think we're good. I'm just gonna zoom in closer to make sure that this edge Oh, it's slightly... Do you see there's a crack on the right side here? And it's overlapping on the left. So what I can do is click on the dot above it, and then use the arrow keys on my keyboard to change the angle a little bit to try to make it straighter. Now they look pretty much even, but I'm going to bring it down slightly. And then just keep adjusting those two dots till it's as seamless as possible. I think that's fine enough. Okay, so now the bottom height on this one, we know it's 130, and the top height is 130, because we don't want it to go any steeper, because it's hard to get up to 130, and if you make the ball have to keep increasing to go higher, as well as turning, the ball loses momentum in a turn. So, and as it goes up a hill, and if you're doing that, chances are it's just going to come back down, right? So now we have those two ramps done, which is the same steps as we did for the other one so far. Now we're going to do the same steps that we did at the other one as well by Control C, this first ramp, and then we're going to lock it, and Control V to have a clone of the ramp. But here is where we're going to do things differently. On the right hand side where it says flat, we're going to leave it as flat. We used to go one wire. That's what we were doing in the previous video. We would select one wire, one wire, and we'd have that element. But we're going to keep it as flat. And what we're going to do is go down to where it says top width. So the width of it, we're going to put it 15. It doesn't really matter. You can choose your width, but you'll see what I'm doing here. And bottom width has to match. So now we have a strip like this. And where it says visible wall, left wall, we'll leave it at 0 for now, both of these walls. So now it doesn't have walls going up on either side of that mini ramp, because that's not really a mini ramp. Basically, we just want it as a flat surface that matches the angle of the ramp you cloned. At this point, I can actually... Oh, wait. I'm going a little too fast ahead of myself. We have to decide how high we want the walls on either side of these ramps. We haven't done that yet. So right now, the left visible wall is at 30, and the one in the previous tutorial was 40. I think for this tutorial, we'll try 50, just to go a little bit higher. So maybe we'll spot the difference, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But do that for both of your ramps that we added in. All right, so now they're 50 high. So this segment of the ramp that we've created has to go 50 higher than this ramp. So all you have to do is click on that element, and where it says bottom height is 0, you will put 50, because that's 0 plus 50 is 50. 130 plus 50 is 180, so that's your top height. And now we're ready to place it, and all you have to do is drag and drop those dots till you are right on the line. You could actually be a little bit over the line, just slightly. Try to avoid it if you can, but being a little bit over the line is not a bad idea. It'll hide any imperfections and cracks, but usually you should be right fine. Just say there's a hair overlapping is fine. So now we got that side done. Control V to repeat. Actually delete that. I'm gonna Control C that element. Control V, because I already have the height adjusted for it and everything. So we're just gonna go ahead and drag it to the side of this ramp on the right side, and we're gonna create that bevel, or the lip, or it's gonna give the bathtub illusion. I keep calling them bathtub ramps, but you'll see what I mean once it's done. Okay, so that's pretty good. We're done here. Oh, we gotta select both. So click one, hold shift and click the other, and we go to the physics tab. Make sure they're non-collidable. So remove that collidable check mark in the physics tab. And make sure that the visuals tab, the visible wall is 0 on both, which it is, so we're good. The bottom height is 50, top height is 180, and the width, top and bottom, is 15. There we go. That is done. For that section, we got to repeat it for the next. So Control C, that upside down U ramp, and lock it into place. Control V. So we're going to repeat this. We're gonna go 15 wide at the bottom and at the top as well. 15, 15, there you go. Left wall 0, right wall 0 for the visible walls. We might as well go to the physics tab now and remove the collidable, so it's not collidable. If I'm going too fast, take your time, pause the video, do it step by step, don't rush. If I'm saying too many things and you're a few steps behind, the beauty of the video is that you can just pause it and follow along. Okay, can you guess what the next step is? Well, our main ramp here, we put walls that are 50 high on each side, and since these are going to be sitting on top of those side walls, we need to increase the height. So if the bottom height is 130, we add 50, which will be 180. 180 for the top height as well. Now I can actually make a copy of this ramp before I even start moving it. That way I can just Control V and get a new one when I need it after I'm done this right side. I'm just going to bring these in real fast and then adjust them after. Okay, let's zoom in and adjust them. Line them up with the bottom one. There we go. There we go. Make sure the lines line up with the lines of inside the center ramp. So we're going to call that the main ramp is the center ramp, and these are going to be the side ramps or the side supports. There we go. That side is now done. Control V to get the other one, and we'll place it on the other side. I'm excited to show you what it looks like. Now remember all those images I made you import on the table? They're going to come real handy here soon. We're almost at that point now. If you can't get it perfectly straight, it's okay if it overlaps a little bit. You don't want it to be you don't want a crack. You'd rather an overlap than a crack. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna go ahead and select all 4 of these side supports and lock them. Remember to hold Shift in between each select to select more than one at a time. Once they are locked, before I add any textures or anything, let's just go ahead and select everything here for now. And let's select the material metal like we did in the first tutorial just to see what it looks like. There you go. Do you see that's the shape that a lot of other pinball uses, right? It's that, I call it the bathtub shape. It's a little bit different than the other one, and it looks kind of cool, but wait, there's so much better than this now. What we can do at this point is there's textures that we imported that we can use. So what we're going to do is select everything here. All right. And now if I go into my folder here, just the cartoony one, let's select a color from here. Let's say we want ramp red. This one. That's why it's called ramp red. So we're going to look for ramp red where it says image in the drop down menu on the right hand side over here. Ramp red. So you can just press R to go quickly to the R's and look for ramp red. Ramp red. There's ramp red. And you have to change the material to plastic if you want it to be a solid plastic looking. So we'll try that first and see what it looks like. Oh, that's not bad, but that's not what I was intending to do. I forgot one step. I wonder if you guys can guess what it was. Right where it says underneath the plastic mode, it says world. Remember I told you in the first tutorial, if you're putting a texture onto a ramp, you want to use wrap. All right, so now that we have wrap, let's see what it looks like now. See, you got shiny bits now and dark shaded. It looks a lot better. Let's say you wanted that plastic to be see-through. This image is 80% opaque and 20% transparent. That means that you can use a plastic with an image, it's called. Under the materials tab on the right, look for something called plastic with an image. Right here, plastic with an image. So now, as long as the image that you're selected has that transparency built into the image, then this will make it transparent. So you'll be able to see it. But if your image is solid and it's 100% opaque, then selecting this material won't change anything. But in this case, it is. And look, now we got a clear red ramp. And it's pretty awesome looking. All right, so now, from here, that's one way of doing it. All right? There's a second way of doing this. And it's with my different colors. That was with the cartoony textures, all right? If I want, I could change all of them again to a different color. Let's try a different color just for now. Ramp, I don't know, black. Let's try black. That's all with transparent. Oh, let's not make it transparent. Let's go to just plastic. Plastic. Plastic, there we go. So that's black. It's not great. I don't think I have the right texture, to be honest. Hold on. Oh, I got ramp sides black. I don't have the right one. I want ramp black. My bad. Ramp black. There it is. There we go. There, now we got the shininess on it. But see, that shininess is drawn on. So it's an illusion of having shininess on the ramp. But it looks pretty glossy and shiny and good looking, right? So that's the benefit of the cartoon ramp. But you may lose that illusion when you're using a lot of lighting on the tables. So depending on what table you're creating, if you're not putting a lot of GI lighting on it, this will work just fine. And people will think, wow, it looks great. But just in case that you're not going to be using any GI lighting, and if you don't know what that is yet, don't worry about it. We'll get that further down the road. There's a different set of textures, but it requires two different textures. You need a texture for the center ramps, these two sections, and then you need a different texture for the side supports. All right? So if you go into the folder of the images that I linked to you in the description, the one that says plastic, you'll see there's two blues, two grays, two greens, two of everything in here. One is slightly lighter than the other. That's normal. It's because the one that is darker is more transparent than the one that's the supports, because the supports are thicker plastic than the rest of it. So the first thing we're going to do is select a color. Let's do green. Okay, so we're going to look for ramp center green for the center ramps and ramp sides green for the ramp supports. So highlight these two ramps, and where it says image, you remember what it was called? Ramp center green. So now we got ramp center green. We'll keep it as plastic for now. We can put it transparent as well later, but just for now. Highlight all the side supports. And now we want ramp sides green. Ramp sides green. We'll leave it as plastic as well. Let's look at what this looks like. See, this is more universal. There's no shininess to it, but there is like almost a shininess, almost like this. It's more contained. And if you're going to use GI lighting, this will work a whole lot better. Now let's make this transparent green, so select all the elements, including the center ramps, and go plastic with an image, just so we can see the difference. And there you go. So that would be a transparent green plastic ramp. Let's leave it at that for now. And the second part of the tutorial that I promised you today was that we're going to make a loop that loops over itself for a return wire. Go a little crazy, all right? So we know that the ramp that we just inserted is actually 130 high. So my plan is to take a 2-wire ramp. We're going to go ahead, put it here, select the type, 2 wires, put the blue, which is bottom, to where it starts, and the red goes away from there. And we're going to add some points. Now, I'm going to make it curl over the ramp here and under the ramp and come around. I think that's going to be our plan of action. So we got to keep in mind here the distance of how far this ramp is and the distance needed for the ball to travel up the ramp without hitting into this ramp we're going to cross over with. So here it says the real height is 79. So whatever this is 79 plus 60. So 80 plus 60 is 140. So this should be 140. It's not gonna work. It has to go a little lower. So we need it to go to a section on this ramp that is 130 and no higher. That's adding 60 to whatever number you have. So if you're not sure, what you can do is you can right click on the ramp and add a new point a little bit lower just to get the measurements on this side. So now right where this point is, it's 56. We'll round it up to 60, and 60 plus 60 is 120. So it's safe. You could pass the wire over this section, not a problem. However, I don't need to keep this point, so I can click on the point and delete it. It was just as a reference. So now we're going to drag these dots. Sorry, I'm slurring a little bit here. Trying to walk and talk at the same time is complicated. Okay, so we're making these wires pass over here, and these wires are going to keep the same height as this ramp, 130 on both sides. So 130, 130. So at the point that it has safely crossed over the main ramp, that's when we can start decreasing in its height. I'm just going to let it pass a little bit over like that. Add another point just to round it up a little. Let's tighten this up over here, make sure it's lined up properly, which it wasn't. Yeah, so those are lined up. There we go. So now this ramp will safely pass through it, but now we got to test it before we go. Will the balls pass underneath it? So you press D, bring up this window, and then you put a check mark where it says ball control, and you can grab the ball with your mouse. And going up the ramp, you just make sure it doesn't get caught on anything. Use your left flipper to lose ball control so gravity takes in. Even try to make the shot. And we're good. So that's clean. So now all we have to do is pass underneath this ramp. So that we're going to have to think of the math the opposite way. So now this ramp at its highest point is 130. So 130 minus 60 is 70. So we have to get to 70 from this point to where it starts to go underneath that ramp. So we're going to add one more section here of 2-wire ramps. Add some points so we can mold it the way we want. And one thing you want to keep a note of is that the more points you have, if they're too close together, you'll start getting sharp edges. Look, I'll put these two really close. Don't know if you can see this, but there's a flat edge here, and this will end up showing in, especially in metallic surfaces, it'll look crinkled like aluminum foils or folds, which it's not what we want, and it's not clean, so we'll try to avoid that. So at this point here, to right around here, now we know that if I make this ramp the bottom, which is the bottom, start at 130, and the end, we want it at 70. It should clear the ball underneath, no problem. Let's test it out for now, just to make sure. Yep, not a problem. Okay, this is a zany ramp. I don't know why you'd want to do a ramp like this, but I'm just showing you. You don't have to do it this way, but it's just so you get to practicing, to learning that in this 2D image, you have to think of it as 3D, because every time you set a ramp, bottom height and top height, the ramp's height is adjusted linear. So it doesn't spike in heights or anything. It always goes up in the same angle. As long as the bottom height is one way and the top height is the other, it's going from point A to point B in a straight line. But that can cause a problem as well. And here is where we're going to have that first problem, is that this ramp that's 130, it's flat, meets a ramp that's in an angle going down. That creates a sharp edge, and we don't want that. What we want to do is taper the end of the flat ramp so it has a round edge going towards the incline or the decline of the ramp going down. So in order to do this, you're going to click on this segment of the ramp, and you're going to go to the very last dot on the segment of the ramps, and when you click on it, on the right hand side, you'll have a section that says height offset. And you can see the real height is 130. We're going to go minus 10. So now it's 120 just at that tip. So 130 at this dot, but it becomes 120 at this dot. So now we have to adjust this ramp to the bottom height to be 120 instead of 130. Let's see if that little kink is gone now. It's a lot better already, you can tell. So the only kink I've noticed is right here, which I didn't like the shape of too much. It just wasn't round. There, perfect. Okay. Now at this point, we're gonna add one more wire ramp, a 2-wire ramp from here, and we're gonna bring it all the way down to the right flipper in the in lane. So 2-wire ramp, and this is just a tutorial to have ramps that cross over each other, like the same ramp going over or under it. This is what you got to do. You have to do it in segments, one that stays a certain height and one that has an angle so it can go under the other one. It's just a little bit of math you have to do, but it's all doable. And remember, the more spins you want on the over and under itself, the higher the initial ramp has to be, so more difficult the shot will be. So you have to manage that and think about that. So, okay, from here, add some points. We're gonna make it roll nicely right where this one begins, so it looks like a nice circle. Take your time moving these dots to try to really make it look nice and round. There we go. Add more dots. Add more dots. You know what? We're going to go even crazier. And this time I won't make a loop that loops in over itself, but just a loop nonetheless. So it's coming down. It has momentum at this point. We're going to make it come down on the right-hand side here at a point. And we're going to make it curl all the way around the sling like this. Just to go a little crazy. Why not? And then it comes out right here. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Got to be careful though. If it's too close to this ramp, it might jump and hit that ramp, which we don't want. We want it to have a nice fall off. Okay, so here we go. Oh, wait, one dot. I'm just perfecting it right now, just trying to get all these to look good. I like that, but I think what I can do is click on one of these dots, right click, and remove the check mark for smooth, and it makes that section of the ramp super sharp, like this, sharp corner. Why do I want that? Because I'm going to add another dot here. When you're working with ramps, it's automatically smooth. You don't have to put a check mark for smooth, but you have to remove it if you want it to be super straight. And that's just to look a little bit better here. So I can bring that in so it goes straight down. Nice little section here. Okay. I think we're good. Now, we have to find the bottom height. Has to match what the top height of this one was, which was 70. Yeah, 70. So this one has to be bottom height 70. And I like to put it 65 where it comes in on the in lane. It's perfect height. Still has a slope all the way down, so it shouldn't lose momentum. So at this point, let's collect all of these elements of the 2-wire ramps. And then on the right hand side where it says material, we're going to go and choose metal. So we're finally going to make it look like metal. We can at this point lock it if we want. Well, we'll wait one step. Let's test this out. Look at the zaniness here. Let's see if it works. Oof, almost made it up. Holy, okay, maybe I didn't place that ramp at the right spot. Didn't take my time with that enough. That's why it's important. Take your time when you're placing your ramp, so you don't have to do that too many times. There he goes, all the way around. Boom! How nice was that? Big travel there. Boom. So that's, we know it's working. Although it's hard to hit, I just didn't take the time to place it right. A few things I'm noticing now that I need to adjust. You see the section? Let me grab ball control here so I can use it as a mouse. So the section right here looks like there's a dip where it goes down faster. I have to go check what's going on there. And then this dot here looks like it's not round enough, and here looks like there's a kink. So let's see what's going on. So in this one where there's a kink, dots must be too close to each other, or it's just not round enough. There, okay, yeah, there we go. Just moving that helped a lot. There. Now for this one, it looked out of place. Now we're good. Okay, here with the kink, it looked like it was taking a dip, but it shouldn't. But that could be because this one has an incline and that one's more flat than that. So what we could do, I wonder if it would work. I'm not 100% sure about this. So is it lower or higher right now? It looks like it's going lower where it connects. So this, we can make it look like it keeps on dipping, or we're going to end the dip here by adding 10 on this dot. Or a better way would be, because we still want it to be 70 and not go 60. So I'm going to make the top height 80 now. And I know 80 is not enough to go through, but we're going to manually go and click on the last dot and go -10. This will taper that corner so it should match up correctly. Let's see. Oh, it's doing the opposite. Completely the opposite of what we want. So that's not what we want. Hold on, hold on. So now it's dipping way too much. We want it to go the other way around. How do we do that? 0. This should be 70. So we'll do it on this one. Instead of being bottom height 70, we'll go 80. And then lower this one. -10 maybe? Let's see. Oh, no, no, no. It's not doing what I want it to. Oh. So this point should be... Right now I have it at -10. We'll zero that out. It's pretty close. Again, it's functioning right now. We don't need to do this. I'm just being a perfectionist. But you'll see my reasoning. So I do want this point to be higher and then this one lower. So what can I do is make this point lower. -10 there. But I think that's just going to move the kink down the road. Yeah, it's just moving it down. Oh, wait. Where did I do? Oh, that should be 70. 70. That -10. Yeah, the kink is down there. So we don't want a kink there. So we got to remove that -10. How are we going to do this? It's just as if it where it meets. You know what? Instead of the bottom height 70, I'm going to put bottom height 65. And then I'm going to add 5. I think that's going to fix it. Perfect. There we go. Now it looks, you don't see it up and down hill, so it's perfect now. Okay. The only thing I don't like is that it looks flat and not circular back here. So that could be just an optical illusion. If I add another point here, bring this down a little bit more. No, I think, Control Z, by the way, to undo something. If you want to go back one step, Control Z is a great thing to remember, a great tool. Okay, I think we're good here. I'm overcomplicating things. It's gonna work. It looks fine. Now we got to do the support wires. So before we go ahead and start doing the support wires, I want to make these support wires not all the way down like in the first tutorial. It's nice to have 2 wires, 1 wire on each side, but it's not necessary. You got to think about the gravity of a ramp. When you're doing a sharp turn to the left, gravity is pulling you on the right. So the right hand side in a big curve should have a support wire, but not so necessary on the other side. So you've got to keep that in mind here. So what we're going to do is take this first segment of the ramp, which is 130 both ways, and Control C, lock it, Control V turn it into a 1-wire ramp. And we want it to be 50 high, because the walls on the previous is 50. So actually, no, you know what? We're going to go just 30 high here, just to show you a different way of making it, okay? So instead of 130, so 130 plus 30 is 160. 160 on that one as well. And click on the physics tab to turn the collidable off. At this point, we want this to be on the outside over here. So we got to line up all these dots and put the wire. That's good. Oh, wait. Needs to go down a little bit more. Needs to go down here. So, because there's no lines on that go sideways on these type of ramps. One thing you can do if you want to is where it says 2-wire ramps, you can go to turn it to a flat temporarily, and just make the width, bottom width, 60 and the top 60, and then you can just follow that ramp and then turn it back into a 2-wire ramp after, right? That's one way of doing it. So you could go this. That way, you don't have to eyeball it. You know it's going to be the right distance. So every dot go to every line. Wait, I'm missing a line here. Oh, no, I'm not. Never mind. And there. So let's just make sure. Yes. Yes. The more time you take to make it perfect, to line up, the better it's going to look in the end. Now, it's going to look weird here coming from a plastic bathtub style ramp. One thing I want to do is add a point between this section. But before I do that, actually, I'm going to copy this one, Control C. Oh, wait. Control C. Oh, I'm going to file and save. Actually, I haven't saved in a long time, and I've told you about this. You could have a fatal error at any time if you haven't saved and you lose all your progress and you have to start again. So don't do what I did and save multiple times. Every time you're satisfied with one element, save. That's the best way to do it. All right. So I'm going to copy this element, make a clone, bring it over on this side and do the exact same thing. I'll show you that little minor tweak at the end. Oh, I'm missing. Where's that dot? There it is. Oh, just the dot. If the whole wire is dark blue, then you're moving the whole wire. You don't want to do that. You just want to move one dot at a time. So, click on a dot. Click on a dot. There we go. Now we know everything's aligned. At this point, I can take this ramp and turn it back into a 2-wire ramp. Boom. Now we know that the distance is perfect on each side. But now something I want to do is at the end here between these 2 points, I'm going to add one more point on both of these. Add a point. And then this section, I'm going to bend it out and tuck it underneath the side supports here. You'll see why. It's just going to give it an extra look of more realism. And remember to judge your distance by the center line in the wire and not the outside of the wire. So if it doesn't look exactly the same, it's just an illusion, right? Because I'm basing it on the line. Okay, so that and that. Actually, a little bit more. Like that. There we go. And then I'm going to click on those dots at the end and also make them a little bit higher. Oh. I can't. I'll have to do it one at a time. Okay, so I'm going to add a height offset of 15 on that side and a height offset of 15 on that side. Now I got support wires on both sides and I said I would only do one, right? Since this ramp is 160 to 160 on both sides, I can go ahead and select the inside dots that I don't want and delete them. Then I can keep this section here, just a small section. I can even shrink it a little bit. There. We're going to have a nice support ramp here that goes both sides later. But let's just see what this looks like for now. They are both metal. Oh, we got to make sure they're non-collidable. Yeah, we're good. Okay, let's lock it. Lock. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. Look at that. So now it's starting to look like a real deal ramp here. Hold on just a sec though. Something's 160, 160, 160. All right, no, it's good. All right. So we got to keep doing. We're going to copy this little segment, Control C, lock it into place, Control V, change it to a one wire ramp by go to the Visuals tab, select one wire, and then go to the Physics tab, remove the collidable, come back to the Visuals tab, and from here, we're just going to go ahead and move everything out to the side. But to make sure we're lining things up properly, select the 2-wire one, change it to a flat with the bottom width and top width of 60, and then use that to line everything up. Just temporarily turning it into a flat can help to be more precise. You don't have to do this, you can eyeball it. It really doesn't matter. And we're only going to do support on that side for this segment, because this is where all the gravity would be and where it would need support. But you don't actually need the support. It's only visually there. Physically, there's support built into all these ramps. When you go to the Physics tab, it tells you that the left wall is 62 high and the right wall is 62 high. So it's more than enough. So anyways, this one's done. We just need to connect it here. All right. Bring that in a little bit. And that's good. So we can return this to this type of 2 wires like this. Oh, this one has moved somehow. There. Now we're good. Select this one. Control C. Lock it. Control V. Go 1 wire. Physics tab. Remove the collidable. A lot of repetition in making ramps. There's something relaxing about doing it. And I'm not just talking about the relaxing music. So let's go ahead, change this ramp to a flat ramp for now. So the Visual tab to the type drop down and go all the way down to flat. Oh, and you got to adjust the width at 60 to 60 on both sides. There. So now it's going to line up. And sometimes you have to go over it twice, because moving one dot makes a weird curve, and then you're like, that's not where I want it. You'll see the more you do it. Bingo. Now I'm just going to go over it closely here and zoomed. Make sure they're exactly where I need them to be. There we go. Just being picky at this point. Doesn't need to be that precise because we're not even using that flat ramp. It's going to be a 2-wire ramp. But this is just an effective way or tip so you know how wide you can, or how to distance yourself from the sides there. This one needed to be changed big time. Whoa. It is this one, isn't it? Yes, it is. I'm having some weird shapes happening here. I don't know why. I'm struggling a little bit. That's fine. Just keep going. And make these two connect. They overlap a little. That doesn't matter with wire ramps. So, okay, so now we have to set the height offset, which we know I want it to be plus 30. So 65 plus 30 will be 95, and same for the top, 95. So all the way down is going to be 30 higher. I can go ahead now and select the flat ramp here and return it to being a 2-wire ramp. Let's see what it looks like right now. Boom, look at that. Oh, something's wrong. I forgot to do the height offset on the one up here. Forgot to do the plus 30 on this one. So 120 plus 30 is 150, and 70 plus 30 is 100. So that should fix that. Let's see. Boom. There we go. Now we just need all those little support wires and the rings at the end, and we're pretty much through. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lock these elements that we've just created. Now, what I can do is go on the other side where I already have elements that I know I can use, unlock them, Control C, lock them, Control V, and let's bring them on over so we don't have to redo all that. Oh. Boom. Okay. So now have this connect over here. So that's good. And I'll make this one actually go a little bit further around here. And we'll have a support wire coming across here. All right. And this should only be 30 higher than the base, which is 65. There should be 95 instead of 105. Let's see what this looks like. We are in the end zone, my friends. We just need to put all those little finicky wires. And we know how to do that from the previous tutorial, so we're just going to go ahead and lock these into place. Select a ramp element, go to type, put 1 wire, go to physics, remove the collidable, go to visuals, and select material metal. And now we're going to shrink it into shrink it. There we go. We'll start at the top and work our way down. So the very first one we're going to make here, right here to right here. So on the fat end, you can have it even, and on this side, a little bit more on the inside. So, all right, and then you have to add a dot very near the side of the center 2 wires like this. And now we click on both dots at each ends by holding shift. And we got both those dots highlighted. And we're going to put an offset of plus 30 because it goes 30 higher. And there we go. We have our very first support wire in. And it is not there. Where the hell did it go? What did I do here? Oh, this the height. My bad. I forgot. We first have to choose the height is 130. 130 on both sides. 130, 130. There. My bad. Now we have it. There it is. Whew. A little confused there for a second. So now we can just go Control C. And Control C. Lock it. Control V. Bring it further down. Let's twist this one. Rotate. Remember, clockwise is a positive number. Counterclockwise is a negative number. So let's say I think 50 should be good. I don't know. Not enough yet. So rotate 20. Yeah, that's about right. That is about right, but we don't need this tip over here. So I'm going to delete that tip. I'm going to make sure that this doesn't have a height offset, which we're good. Only this one has a height offset. Control C. That one's done. Control V. Let's make it so right here where they merge. So I'm going to rotate that 40. Rotate 10. That's very close. Very close. I want to avoid dragging the dots at this point, because points with such a difference, like this one's 30 higher than that point and they're so close together. If I start moving this one, it's going to create all kinds of jaggeds. I'll show you what it does here. Look. Well, it's not so bad right now, but you do want to avoid doing that. So I'm just going to Control Z that, and I'm just going to rotate it more. 3. There we go. That seems about right. Okay, let's see what those support wires look like. Oh, I can see a problem on the last one I just did. I forgot that this one is minus 10. So this can't be 130. It has to be 120, 120. Now it's going to be underneath it. Boom. There it is. All right, we're doing good. We just got to keep going. Control C, Control V. We're almost done with this video. If you think you got the gist of it, you can end the video now if you want. Actually, stay till the end. I have one more thing I want to teach you before the end of this video. Or you can fast forward towards the end and you'll see what I mean. I want to show you how to put stoppers at the end of these ramps to slow down the ball so they don't have so much momentum. So you have a chance to actually cradle them, to flip them. All right, rotate 90. Boom. Oh, wait. Rotate 90. That's good there. But now this has an incline. And when you want to put a wire in a support wire where there is a different height from beginning to bottom, what you have to do is add a point where you want it to go, like this, on the 2 wire underneath, just to get this information. You click on that dot, and on the right, see it says, highlight that whole number where it says the real height. Control C, and now you can delete that dot you just added on there. Now select that wire, and then the bottom height and top height, you Control V that information there. So now it'll be under the perfect height. So Control V to bring another one of these. I'll rotate 180. Here should be good. They're not perfect to where I would put them, I guess, but it's good. It's fine. Now we got to figure out the height here. Oh, there's a dot there at 65, so we can actually put this 65 on both sides. 65, 65. Boom. Control C, Control V. I'm gonna put another one right here. I'm gonna rotate that. 40, I think. No, a little bit more. J10. That's about right. Maybe a little bit less. Rotate -2. Ah, rotate 1. There. So now we got this one here. And this one's going to be 65 all the way. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 65 all the way, so we don't have to worry about anything. So at this point, we can just clone and move. Control C, Control V. Where else do we want one? We're going to go a little further down. Maybe here before the spiral. Control V. Oh, I posted it up there, so it's fine. And now let's put one in the curl here. We're going to start rotating it. 20. 20 is fine. There. So now we have one there. Control C, Control V. Ah, did it? Yeah, it moved it up there. It didn't copy the right one. That's fine. That's fine. We're just going to rotate this one 90. So now, actually, it's going to be more than 90. If we put it here, 20 more. Yeah, 20. 20 would make it up to here. That's fine. The more support wires you put, the nicer looking it is. As long as they're evenly spaced. You try to get it. This is not evenly spaced, but it's close. If I wanted to make it closer, I'd have to bring this one up a little further. Like that. It's a lot closer. Just these two are too close right now. It's fine. It's fine. I'm being too picky. Control V. Shoot. It keeps cloning that one. Okay, rotate 180. Oh, not 1080. 180. Enter. For those of you that are still with me, congratulations. We're almost done here. It's going to be pretty satisfying to shoot the ball down this once it's done. All right, so for the last section, it's going to have a support wire on both sides. So we're going to want to have a clone of the first one we made over here. Unlock it, Control C. Lock it, Control V. Bring it down. And we're going to rotate it -20, I think. Something like that, yeah. More than that. Rotate -20 again. Yeah, that seems almost about right. A little bit more even. -10. Yeah, that'll do. So we got one here. We'll C, B. I'll put one last one. Rotate 40. Put it right towards the end here. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, I forgot the heights. I forgot the heights on those ones. Hold on, they're floating. They're floating. Both of these have to be 65 at the beginning, at the top height and the bottom height. And there we go. Look at that. We have our ramp. It's finished. We have 2 ramps on a table already. In 2 short videos, you have a normal ramp and you have a pretty wackadoo ramp there. Let's shoot that ramp. We'll see if we left anything collidable that's not supposed to be collidable pretty easily, especially if it's those little support wires. The ball will get stopped. And we're good. Let's see how fast the ball comes back. That's an issue here. And I'm gonna leave you with the next tip, I'm going to show you this tip that I'm going to add here. And that's going to be a segue to our very next tutorial, which was going to be wall elements. What we need right now is to add a wall at the end of both of these ramps. And I'll show you why and how. First, before we do that, let's go and lock all of these elements so we don't accidentally move anything that we don't want to move. Boom. 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 And right click, lock. And let's save it. File, save. Alright, so now we know we're going to be here no matter what. Oh, these aren't even locked on this side. Whoa, from the first tutorial, my bad. Lock, file, save. Alright, so you know where the ramp button is, but right above it, it looks like a little brick wall. That's called a wall element. Click on that, click it on anywhere on the desktop. It should give you this cube. And this cube has dots in each corner that allows you to shape it however you want. And you can right click on it and add a point anywhere to make it so you can shape it as many different ways as you want. So you can add as many points as you need. But as you can see, when you pull on these dots, it goes from a straight line from one dot to the next dot. And if you have to make something curve with a nice curve, it can get tricky. So what you want to do is right click on any of these dots and click smooth. So now this dot to its next connecting dots will be curved. So that's something you keep using like this. See, now I got this one with a curve. I'll add a curve over here. So that's a curve. So you can make all kinds of shapes pretty fast using these features. Even I could make them all circular, but doesn't really matter. I'm going to delete this for now. I'm going to create a new wall, and we're going to bring this wall right here over where the D-shaped rings are that captures the ball. We're going to add some extra dots over here, and we're going to bring those dots in, and we're going to make like a bowl the same size and shape as those D rings. And we're going to add some curvatures to them. Right click smooth, add a point, right click smooth, right click smooth. So now we have a wall here. The ball's going to come down, hit this wall, and then fall down. Because right now, remember, these rings are not collidable. So the ball is coming with momentum, and it's just falling straight down. So it's got a lot of momentum, nothing's slowing it down. But in real life, on a pinball machine, it would hit those rings and slow down and drop, right? So this is what's going to give that effect. So when you click on a wall like this, I can reduce the extras on the outside. We don't need all that to be that big, so I can go ahead and shrink these if I want. And I do want, there we go. So you click on your element here, and on the right hand side you get all of the same kind of options that you would with a ramp. So you got a visual tab and a physical tab. In this case, the physical tab will always be collidable. As you can see, the check mark for collidable is there. And the check mark, there's check marks here for top visible and side visible. Because wall elements have two different spots where you could put material or a texture or both. The tops, top and bottoms, and the sides of it. But in this case, we don't even want to be able to see the ramp. We would remove these. We'll do that next, but before we do that, we're going to leave these visibles on and adjust the bottom and top height. So now we know the bottom height is 65 because this is where the ramp comes off, right? 65. You can even lower it a little bit lower if you needed to. Bottom height, we'll say 60. Bottom height 60 and plus 50 for the size of the ball. This is 110. 110 high. There we go. So that's the height of the ball. So you know the ball is going to hit that no matter what. and it can pass underneath it, no problem. Let's just go take a look at what it looks like. Do you see where it is now? That pink wall with no texture. It's ugly, but it serves a purpose, and we're going to turn it invisible after. So let's just show you what happens when I drop the ball here. Boom. See, it gives you a lot more time to not adjust, but to react. See, that one comes off. Like, it's slow to get there, but once it's here, boom, it's already at the flipper. So we're going to go ahead and do that on that side as well. So we're just going to Control C, Control V. And we're going to move that to the other side. And you don't have to make a ramp as zany as I just did. It's just a suggestion. I'm trying to, like, show you different ways you can make crazy ramps. I know a lot of people like those loop-de-loops and crazy things. I really don't like making ramps that go over another ramp, because what can happen is when the ball goes up this ramp and it's going really fast, it can bounce up a little bit and hit those ramps and then come down, which is very frustrating. It might not happen all the time, but it'll happen from time to time. Okay, and now both these walls that we just added, at this point, we can remove the check mark for top visible and side visible. So now, when we click play, they look like they're not there, but their effects will indeed be there. So let's go ahead and try to shoot one ramp in the other. See how more manageable it is to get these ramps going. Oh, struggling with the short one. It's always a good sign. Uh-oh. What is it getting stuck on? Hold on. It bumped. Is this physical? No, it's non-collidable. Oh, the corner in here. Okay. Is this collidable? Yeah, you got to be careful so it doesn't pass over. I'm going to add a smoothness to bring that in, because it was passing here and it's getting caught on the corner of this. I'm good on the other side. All right, let's try again. It's important to do trial and errors. It's a very good reason why. There we go. Perfect. Gives me enough time to concentrate, make the shot. So now we got the very beginning of what could be a possible table if we wanted to. Not necessarily, probably would need a lot more, but on our next tutorial, I want to teach you how to make orbits by using wall elements. And the wall element, as you've seen here, it's not difficult at all to use. It's just a little more painstaking, longer a process, because you have to put a lot of dots and size it, and then you gotta plan where everything goes, and that will be our next tutorial. But guys, how do you feel about this? Did you make one with a crazy ramp that spins somehow over itself? There's many different ways this could have happened. Something else before we end the tutorial. How long has this video been? I think this is fine. You know what? We're gonna end it there. It's fine. I want to change the color on that ramp. Oh, I don't want it to be fully transparent like that. I prefer it more like a plastic. Personally, I'm going to put the cartoony color, so it's the same texture for everything, and it's just ramp on it. Ramp green is fine. And instead of a plastic with an image, I'm going to go plastic, just plastic. Where is it? Plastic. There it is. There. That I'm happy with. I think it looks cool. Kind of looks like grass almost. Huh? It looks like the green from a golfing game. Could be making a Billy Madison game right now. Could be cool, right? And that's just textures. You could change the textures on everything. Feel free to mess around with it. Even all these support wires, you could go and change the colors of these if you wanted to. I wouldn't use the plastics, but you can go metal. There's metal brown. You can check that out. It's more like a rusty brown. Then there's a metal dark, metal violet. I don't remember what metal violet looks like. As it sounds, it's violet. It's metal acorn. I think that's gold. It's a light gold. It's not a shiny gold. It's almost a copper. Where is there? Metal red pegs darker is like that's like a blood red one. Blood red metal, yeah. What other colors? Metal dark, metal brown. Thought I had more colors than that. Do I have gold? I think isn't there a gold one? Or let's try peg yellow. Just messing around with. There you go. That's gold peg yellow. You could always mess with all these textures and try all kinds of things. Now it's starting to look like a St. Patty's Day table now. Anyways, guys, don't want to confuse you more than this. So on the next tutorial, we are going to implement walls. And I think I might even go over targets with you. And maybe pop bumpers. We'll see how it goes for the next one. But before I send you a new video, I would like to see your progress on these ramps. I want you to show me a picture of 2 beautiful ramps that you've created that function. And then I'll see you on the next tutorial. Ciao.